All right, let's do this. Today, we're going to crack the code on a real GCSE maths exam question. We're going to use the official mark scheme to basically get inside an examiner's head and see exactly how every single mark is won, and yeah, sometimes lost. By the end of this, you'll have a proper blueprint for success.
Okay, so on the calculator paper, this is your absolute best friend. It does all the heavy lifting, right? The complicated sums, the number crunching. It's a seriously powerful tool.
But here's the real question, isn't it? How does just punching buttons actually win you marks on the page? Because it's not just about spitting out the right answer at the very end. It's about showing the journey, the method that examiners are trained to look for and, more importantly, to reward.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the challenge itself, then we'll look at how to lock in that crucial first method mark. After that, we'll find the final answer, make sure we nail the accuracy, and then pull it all together into your marking blueprint. Okay, let's dive right in. We're looking at the very first question from a recent hire to your paper. Now, it's designed to be a pretty straightforward start, but honestly, it's the perfect example of where you can either grab some easy marks or let them slip through your fingers.
So the task is a calculation. We need to divide 192.6 by 8.934 and then find the square root of that result. Simple enough, right? Well, let's see exactly where the marks are hiding in plain sight. Our first stop, and this is absolutely key, is securing what's called the M mark, or the method mark. This is so important because a lot of the time, the very first mark you can get has nothing to do with the final answer. It's all about proving you've started down the right path.
So, the first step is to do the division. 192.6 divided by 8.934. Your calculator will spit out a number that starts with 21.558, and then a long trail of other digits. Now, here's the secret. Simply writing down this intermediate number on your paper. Boom. That's it. You've just earned your first mark.
Now, what's really interesting here is how flexible the mark scheme is. There are actually multiple ways to get that first method mark, that M1. As you can see, writing down the result of the division gets you the mark. But look closer. Just writing down one of the original numbers to show you've started also gets you the M1. Even writing the first few digits of the final answer works. The examiners are just looking for evidence that you have a correct process in mind, and they give you a lot of ways to show it.
Okay, let's move on to the next stage. We've secured our method mark, but now we need to finish the job and find the full, accurate answer.
So, what was the full question again? Find the square root of that division. Step 1, we've done, the division. Step 2 is to take the square root of that answer. And critically, for step 3, you should just write down as much of that number from your calculator display as you can. Seriously, don't round it yet. And this is what you should have on your screen, 4.643069317. This is our complete, unrounded, totally accurate answer. Writing this down is the safest thing you can possibly do before you start thinking about rounding for that final mark.
And that brings us to our final mark, the A1, or the accuracy mark. And like the title says, the devil is in the details here. This is where you can lose a mark, not because your math was wrong, but just because you didn't present the answer correctly.
And this says it all, really. This is straight from the additional guidance section of the mark scheme. It's the instruction from the examiner telling you exactly how to present your answer. At least 3 decimal places. That means 3 is the absolute minimum, but any more than that is perfectly fine. So let's see how that rule plays out. If you write 4.643, that's 3 decimal places, you get the A1 mark. If you write 4.6430, that's 4 decimal places, which is at least 3, so yep, you get the A1 mark. But look at the incorrect column. 4.64 is only 2 decimal places. That doesn't follow the rule, so you lose the mark. Even an incorrect rounding at the end will cost you that mark. The math was perfect, but the final presentation wasn't. Okay, let's pull all of that together. By just digging into this one simple question, we can build a really powerful strategy, a blueprint you can apply to every single question on the paper.
So here's your blueprint. First, always show you're working, like that intermediate number. Second, write down more decimal places from your calculator than you think you need. Just get it all on the paper first. Third, when you're practicing, actually read that additional guidance in the mark scheme. And of course, always check the question for specific rounding instructions. By doing this, you're making sure you're aiming for both types of marks, the method mark for your process and the accuracy mark for your final, precise answer.
So there you have it. That's the anatomy of a 2-mark question. The big takeaway isn't just how to do this one problem, but how to think like an examiner.
So my final question to you is this. Now that you know the rules of the game, how are you going to use this mindset to make sure you claim every possible mark on every single question you try?